Okay, let's get started.
Just raise your glasses high. This one's sweet.
Well, Taylor Swift is going to be back at the Super Bowl this year, and she said she wants to pour the big jug of Gatorade on Travis Kelce's head if he wins.
She would. She's a little rascal.
Yeah, I just heard this. She said if the Super Bowl goes the way of the Chiefs, she wants to lift that big jug of Gatorade over her head and pour it atop Travis's head in that celebratory manner when someone wins a game. How do you feel about that?
Good for them.
I think so too. I love that.
So, did they win last year?
I think so. Yeah. I remember a lot of celebratory Taylor Swift stuff. I remember she was kind of she was jumping up and down in that suite and banging on the glass. And
Yeah.
I don't think she'd be doing that if they had lost.
Yeah. Do you think she'll bring Blake and Ryan to the Super Bowl?
I think so. I think if Blake and Ryan looked really cool in the suite and kind of looked a little bit laissez-faire, what does that mean? Hands off?
Chillin'.
And they had like sunglasses on and they were smoking cigarettes and they kind of looked chill next to Taylor Swift. I think that could do huge amounts of like a huge PR win for them. Just
Yeah.
kind of like wearing all black. Can you picture this? Like sort of like that Sonic
Like
Youth.
Beats?
Yeah. Sort
Like
of
a beret and like little small glasses?
just like, what would you think if you saw a screenshot? Taylor Swift, and they're in that box. You see when Taylor Swift is in that box
Yeah.
at football games. Imagine next to her, Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively are dressed fully in black sunglasses. Blake Lively's smoking a cigarette, and they look extremely apathetic about the football. That would change everything in the world about how people think about them. Do you think?
They'd be like, they're so unbothered. Justin Baldoni should be scared.
I think you'd be thinking, what the hell are they doing? Are they
Well,
depressed?
that's for sure.
You'd say, are they depressed?
Right.
Or you'd say, whoa, they look so cool. Are they just, yeah, like you said, unbothered? And then Justin Baldoni, whatever the hell he tries to do, if they get a picture of him and he's like wearing an apron saying, kiss the chef, and he's baking a bunch of buffalo wings at his party, he looks like he's deranged and like he's trying too hard. You know what I mean?
Right. Like TJ on Potomac when he did his Italian chef number.
Yeah, you kind of imagine Justin Baldoni getting like that, like doing that kind of thing. So I'm saying the Super Bowl has a huge chance for all of these celebrities to reorient the conversation. So Blake and Ryan, I know they didn't hire a crisis PR team. Justin did.
Yeah. I mean, I assume they all have somebody.
A crisis
Yeah.
person, but I just gave probably $1 million worth of free advice. Because Justin Baldoni's crisis PR, I listened to the Daily episode about this. Did you listen to that?
No.
They said, what's his name? The crisis PR for Justin Baldoni. She goes, mission accomplished. We made everybody so fucking confused
Yeah.
that no one has any clue what's going on. This guy, Riley Hamilton, can't even get to the bottom of 1 second of this shit because it requires too much.
It's giving the George Bush mission accomplished banner like before they did anything.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. It's just like when he did that. What did he do? He parachuted down?
That was like primo America era.
Oh, for sure. But I'm just saying, if you want to confuse people even more, imagine how confused the world would be if they looked
Yeah.
like two beat poets, like Allen Ginsberg and
Yeah, just like totally toss in some like very strange imagery so people just don't know what to think. She like comes dressed as like a Harlequin clown. They're
Yeah,
like,
it would just
whoa.
it would confuse people. And Justin Baldoni wouldn't know how to react. He'd be like, should I try to be cool?
He's like, fuck.
He's
Fuck,
like,
shit.
They just regain the narrative. The Daily, I want you to kind of listen to the Daily New York
Yeah.
Times, because I'm kind of like, that is kind of the way I do consume
Yeah.
information sometimes.
Is it short?
It's 40 minutes.
Okay.
A
Yeah,
typical
I consider
Daily
that
episode.
short.
It was unfortunately beneath Michael Barbaro.
Yeah.
He didn't want any part of it.
Mm.
So anyway, though, but I got my news from it, and I would like to hear you, who are you're more knowledgeable. I would like to hear what they skimped on
Uh-huh.
to see if they missed because they wanted to make that reporting that they did seem more accurate. I
Oh.
mean, that reporting.
So
where
do they reference the New York Times
yeah,
article?
yeah,
Is
and
that
they
what
read
it's about?
and they read a statement from the New York Times company saying we stand by our reporting. We think Justin Baldoni is a piece of shit.
Okay.
So I would like to hear your take on it.
Yeah.
But
That's interesting. I will send me anything like that. I'm always looking for like sort of like little digestible under 1 hour pods that I can put on around the house or like on a walk or whatever.
yeah,
I watched the Max Diddy docuseries
how was
this
that?
week. It's fine. It's like better than I thought. I thought it was going to be like, one of those Discovery, like just schlepped it together overnight kind of like trash box things. It was kind of almost more like there wasn't, because I've been on TikTok so much about the Diddy stuff, that there wasn't much new information. Like every time someone came on screen, I was like, oh yeah, I know about this. Like I was watching with Jimmy and I was like, oh yeah, like so she was in Danity Kane, blah, 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 blah. Like I already knew most of it, but it was nice to have it like from the beginning of his career to now, sort of like painting the picture of like him in the New York scene and like, but they couldn't say, I brought this up because they couldn't say as much as you can learn on the Wild West like TikTok, where they mentioned that his longtime partner, girlfriend Kim Porter died in whatever that was, like last year. And I'm like, well, on TikTok they're like, she died of pneumonia and Diddy is known to poison people and give them pneumonia. And I'm like, yeah, Warner Media Discovery's not going to say that, but I get to be on TikTok being like, she was poisoned.
He gives people pneumonia?
Yeah.
In what way? How do you?
There's like apparently I sound like a moron. Like Jimmy's always like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, my grandpa died of pneumonia. I'm like, what did he know?
What did he? Oh, like you mean if you ever get a huge dose of it, it's quite possible that someone put the
well,
pneumonia.
like that's what Brittany Murphy died of, and everyone always thought it was so shady. Like I think it's kind of like it can be a mystery illness because it's basically, what is that, fluid in your lungs?
Oh, I think you're exactly right.
I love when we get medical. Anyways, it was entertaining. I mean, it's really fucked up, horrible shit on there, but there's one part, the last part, it's 5 parts.
5 parts? What the
I
hell?
know. They're not that long, but yeah, it could have just been a one movie as always. There was a girl that he was dating like more recently, and they watched the R. Kelly doc together, and he was like, we all have a little R. Kelly in us. I'm like, girl, run.
Oh my
Imagine
God.
if you're watching it on a date with a guy and he goes, I got a little R. Kelly in me after watching the most horrific documentary of all time.
I'm trying to put myself in that situation. I'm sitting with Diddy. I'm on the couch. He's watching the R. Kelly documentary.
You're
He looks
like smart pop.
He goes, Riley, do you like my house? I go, yes. He goes, we all have a little bit of R. Kelly in us. And while I'm watching that, I would be absolutely stunned. I'd say, what are you talking about?
Strange thing to say, dude.
Yeah. So, wow. Okay. All right. Well,
And they had one of his former assistants on, and I think they called it, he said he had never heard the term freak off. In all the texts that they showed, they called them knights, king's knights or something like that.
whoa.
And they would send a text and be like, king night tonight at the hotel, bring the goods. And it would be like a lighting kit. It would be like Ciroc. It would be like, what's the Viagra that starts with a C?
Cialis.
Yeah, he'd be like Cialis times 10.
Wow.
Like ketamine.
Wow.
Like it was just like, and the assistant would be like, copy.
Yeah. But if you didn't know what he was doing, like that's the ingredients of just a party. But
Yeah.
it's what he did.
Yeah, I understand that everyone that worked for him was certainly victimized themselves just because he was a raging asshole and like led with fear and power.
Yeah.
And he like sometimes made them do bad stuff too. But like sometimes watching his security guards, his assistant, like all of these, his chef, they saw the most heinous, horrible stuff and like violence against women and just like kept working there.
Yeah, that's so
and I'm like,
horrible.
you should be embarrassed, dog. Like I understand you were scared and like needed a job or whatever, but like that's crazy that you worked there for that long.
Well, yeah, I know, yeah, and then and then everybody kind of waits until the until the perception or culture shifts around this person, and then they say, "Oh my God, yeah, it was so awful." But like they're not complicit, but they were fully normalizing that behavior and wanted to be around it while he was making them money. So that's awful.
Yeah, his assistant was like, yeah, one time I did drop off a girl for him after one of the parties, and she was shaking and really scared and upset, and like I'm just like, you know, think about that.
Wow. All right. Well, I'm definitely gonna watch that because I know absolutely nothing about the Diddy scandal except the blips of it that I heard from you.
Yeah,
I
I'll
know
fill
that,
in the unsubstantiated parts for you.
Yeah, I know. I heard that Costco still hasn't been able to restock baby oil after the Diddy scandal, so that's kind of been a huge detriment to Costco shoppers. Well, in addition to Diddy today, I wanted to also talk about this one thing. So do you remember when the restaurant sandwich shop, something about her, had filming all over it?
Yeah.
Well, you and I were we were all speculating. We're like, oh my God, a scene in Vanderpump Rules, a spinoff. That got, that rumor now got squashed. It's a national commercial, they said. National commercial featuring something about her for a popular condiment brand. And my mind immediately said to me, within myself, Super Bowl ad.
Yeah.
Something about her, about a condiment. And I wanted to ask you, what condiment do you think it is? Hunt's?
Interesting. So at BravoCon, they did a Spawn booth with Lay's, I think.
Right.
And I think also like Allstate or something at one point. Maybe mayo.
Mayonnaise, like Hellman's.
Yeah.
Or what's the other besides Hellman's? What other mayonnaise brands? Does Heinz also make
I'm sure
mayonnaise?
they do, but what's the big one is mayo. What's the one?
Mayonnaise. I was thinking it's not going to be Dijon mustard. It's not going to be
But is it Grey Poupon?
Grey Poupon, but it kind of writes itself because if you know something about her plus condiment, it's you know what they're going to say. It's when I'm making a sandwich, I only want to use the best mayonnaise in the world.
Best Foods.
That's why I use Best Foods mayonnaise, because that makes our sandwiches truly sing. And then maybe Ariana and Katie would sing something, or it's just kind of it instantly unlocked the world of what that commercial was going to be.
Do you think Lindsay Hubbard's going to try and horn her way in and be like, who's made me a sandwich lately? And they're like, get out of here.
Oh, you're saying, Ariana and Katie are making a sandwich. They go, we ran out of mayonnaise. I think we should go get the best mayonnaise in the world. They grab that mayonnaise, it's Hellman's or whatever the hell mayonnaise brand. And then right at the end, Lindsay goes, what's her catchphrase again?
When's the last time you made me a sandwich or something?
Yeah, and then I would imagine that they would all laugh or something.
Yeah.
They would be like, that's really funny. Congratulations to Lindsay Hubbard or whatever. But yeah, that's the perfect end to that ad.
Yeah, I feel like mayonnaise is a little gross.
It's probably mustard.
Mustard.
I'm just wondering, Hunt's, Heinz, Dijon, Best Foods, you already said it.
Yeah.
But it kind of just set my mind, what's it called when you're reeling.
Do you think it'll just be fully referential to Scandival?
Yeah, I was thinking when you, okay.
Love it. She's still making these deals 2 years in.
I know, but it's because they've, Ariana has been able to still, transcend post Scandival and still keep the fanfare around her, even to this day. But yeah, I'm imagining I'm yeah, but how would it tie into Scandival? Maybe I'll have to think about it throughout Turtle Time. But
they don't want to bring up worms because it's food,
right? Yeah, they wouldn't want to say worm with a mustache because then you're immediately thinking of that Quiznos creature running around like a weird worm. So you'd probably be I don't know, but we'll see. But I'm almost positive it's going to be a Hunt's or Heinz ad for something about her, and it will tangentially be related to Scandival.
I mean, I would love to see it just to see the concept because we're struggling so hard, and I'm sure once we see it, we'll be like, of course.
Well, yeah, I mean, it writes itself.
But we can't come up with one single option.
Well, you'd be like, have you ever well, no, I mean, I'm imagining the sandwiches are probably going to need a condiment, right? And then I do think that Lindsay Hubbard thing, but would Lindsay Hubbard be able to sacrifice that Jersey Mike's deal, or what's her sandwich
Jimmy
company?
John's.
I'm almost positive that you can't. What's that called when you have a conflict?
Yeah, exclusivity.
You have
clause.
exclusivity. She's definitely a Jersey Mike's.
Jimmy John's.
Oh, sorry. She's definitely.
Talk about mayonnaise. They put so much fucking mayonnaise on their sandwiches at Jimmy John's.
Yeah.
It like gives me a scratch in my throat.
Really? I've never had, I mean, I've only had Jimmy John's once, but I've already told you, I can't stand any of those types of sandwiches. But I will love whatever this, I keep thinking, what could this commercial be? But we're going to see it probably in 2 weeks.
Hell yeah.
Great.
That's honestly reason enough for me to watch.
I know. I love the commercials. I love the
I heard
halftime
that Martha
show.
Stewart and Charlie XCX are going to do something. I heard Meg Ryan
Who
and
was the
Billy
first-
Crystal are going to do something.
Who was the first person you said with Charlie XCX?
Martha Stewart.
Martha Stewart. Oh, that writes itself. I've
She's
been
like,
known
"You're
to
a-
be.
oh!"
Yeah,
She's like, you're a brat.
She wouldn't say I've been known to be a brat as well.
That would be good.
But Martha Stewart, you wouldn't classify her as a brat, right?
Well, she went to jail. That's kind of brat.
Yeah. I had a brat summer.
In the penitentiary.
And then Charlie XCX says, what's her catchphrase?
Brat.
And then I heard, Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal are teaming up in a huge ad. They go, we've got something for Harry Met Sally heads that is going to blow the hair back off your head.
Imagine not being so jaded that you would be excited about that. Like, you're like, they're teaming up again?
Bro, what, I thought something like that would be worthwhile and interesting. But instead, when anybody teams up in January, you have to know that it's going to be for a Super Bowl ad. That, not to say this again, but you can imagine what that ad's going to be. They're sitting in a restaurant. Someone says, I'll have what she's having. And then they say,
like, more mustard.
I don't know if they're going to do 2 mustard ads at the Super Bowl, but it'd be like, what did she have? Sally. And then it'd be like, oh, she had,
Great poupon.
So it's so easy to imagine what these are, but
Bethany should do a chicken salad mustard or mayo.
Do you think that hit enough up to the cultural register to get on the...
Well, maybe instead of Nick's Hubbard, have Bethany come in and be like, do you guys have chicken salad? At something about her.
Oh my God. So, oh yeah.
Because they're like, if you know one, you know the other.
Right. Well, yeah. But don't you think Lindsay, they both make sense. Maybe...
But Lindsay's like not as national. People don't know who she is.
Right.
People know who Bethany is. She's been mentioned on SNL like 5 times, she'll tell you.
That's true. Can someone make me a sandwich? Or, which is better? I asked someone to make me a sandwich, and it's just for the Bravo heads for the Lindsay one. Or Bethany comes in and says, I love mayonnaise too. Remember the chicken salad stuff from that
She comes in a flying saucer.
This is these are good. I mean, every Super Bowl there's a new reinvigoration of a product or of a cultural thing we all love. I remember Matthew, who's dating Sarah Jessica Parker? Matthew
Broderick.
He did Ferris Bueller last year. No one really talked about it. But he goes, it was
he on the float and everything?
No, it was a full play on like I don't have days like that anymore, like when I was Ferris.
Yeah.
But I'm still Ferris Bueller. I'm 60 years old and I use Chase Bank to now fulfill my wildest dreams during the day. But people don't talk about this.
People don't talk about this Matthew Broderick Chase ad from 2024.
Anyway, all I know is that this Super Bowl, get ready to have your hair.
What's in your wallet?
Totally. Just imagine this Super Bowl. Imagine there's going to be some huge cultural totem that is going to be subverted for an advertisement, right?
Absolutely. The pendulum swinging.
So then this is the last bit of news. This is the last bit of news. Someone posted a photo of Paige DeSorbo, and someone commented and said, at Jesse Solomon, they said, I want you to date Paige. And Jesse Solomon said, what would Jesse Solomon do? Question mark. And people are saying he's alluding to he wants to date Paige.
Okay. I guess he has no reason to be loyal to Craig. He doesn't know his ass.
No, not at all. The whatever code guides us through these decisions, absolutely Jesse has no beholdens to Craig, because Craig even knew that Jesse Solomon flirted with Paige that first day when he got there. You remember? It was kind of a little through line. And Craig said, I don't care. He goes, if you don't have a girlfriend that everybody wants to hit on, then you suck.
Yeah.
So I think no. I think because I think that he didn't know Craig enough at all to want to, to potentially make that happen with Paige.
Yeah.
Now it's just a matter of, Paige, do you like Jesse Solomon more than Joe D'Amelio?
Right. It just sucks remembering now that she will be with Craig on the next season of Summer House, so she doesn't get to do anything fun. Whereas if they had already broken up, we could look forward to will they, won't they with her and Jesse, but we'll have to wait like a year for that.
But maybe now, just like how the Craig scenes in context now on Southern Charm hit hard.
Yeah.
There was that scene. Do you remember that scene that you and I completely discredited where Paige goes, I think Craig and I will break up. And you and I go, false alarm, fake out. Obviously, they're going to rectify that, and it's not going to be a big deal. Now that scene has a lot more emotional weight that she could have been actually thinking about something.
Yeah,
but
their breakup breadcrumbs are interesting on Southern Charm, I think, but that's not quite what I need on Summer House. I would rather have her flirting or hooking up on Summer House.
Yeah, it's sad that we have to wait a full year of the Bravo cycle of next season to deal with the aftermath of Craig and Paige. But I was thinking about it. Southern Charm films around Easter or something. So in the next 3 months, Craig is going to be picking up filming, or 4 months, So we are going to get 4 months. He's still going to be affected by the breakup, and we're going to get that in a year.
Yeah.
So
did you see West posted on Twitter? He's still on there, and so am I. He posted a Slack message from his complex office, and someone offered up, they send like interview pitches on there, like so and so reached out or is available, and they go, does anyone want Sierra from Summer House? She's available in the next 2 weeks. And he was like, ha 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 ha.
Wow, like he could have interviewed her for Complex?
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of fun. He did that on Twitter?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Wow.
He's like on every platform.
He's good. He his job is like social marketing, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm always like, once I saw that, I was like, he really does have a real job.
Yeah. He's got his finger on the pulse of internet culture for sure.
Totally. He's good at it.
Yeah, he's great at it. Well, good job, Wes Wilson. I think that interview would be really fun if you can land it.
Maybe we could get it instead.
Sierra?
If he doesn't want to do it.
I would love it. There are so many. The people I want to interview on Turtle Time is now piling up. And I have so many things that I would do differently now, a year past.
Yeah.
In the rear view. Don't you think? More time to prepare. More questions.
I will not be listening to that interview again.
Which one?
Our only one.
No, I can't listen to it either because it was just, it was
fun.
I think it was too, but it was so nerve-wracking for you and I. I can say that, right?
Yeah.
But we'll do one again, right? I think we're talking about in around July, right?
What?
In July, we won a year.
Oh, we did that one in May.
Oh, right. Oh, I'm sorry. May. We'll do one in May, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, perfect. Okay. Well, any other news before we slip off into the night of a different topic?
I think we're good. Something I'm sure will come up. I will warn everyone that I absolutely botched this week and thought that we already talked about Potomac when we didn't. And so I literally didn't watch it. So Riley's going to maybe give me a little sample platter of what I have to look forward to. And then if I have any additional commentary, we'll mix it in next week with the finale.
Totally. Yeah. And I was telling Amy, I said, I'm so bummed out and sad about what you did because this Potomac episode I thought was great.
Superior.
What's it say? What do you say when something all of a sudden picks up steam and does really well.
Improved.
It improved greatly. It improved greatly. So here's what I'll say to tease it for you, and we will. We'll fold it in perfectly. We'll be able to segue it perfectly with when we talk about the finale. But Ashley Darby's performance of her persona, Ashton, was so fun. It is better than you could have ever dreamed of. The editing, the song. Ashley is confident and fun. She almost has this Chaplin-esque or maybe Bruno Mars-esque energy, and it sends everybody, their eyes are rolling back in their head.
Wow.
It is you can't even imagine, and I'm overhyping it completely, but everybody loves it so much. Even, and I'm going to spoil this, Kate Chastain shows up to support Ashley. Karen Huger gets up on stage, and everyone just says, 10 out of 10, we loved this.
Oh, wow.
No sly remarks.
Good.
No shitty statements. So it was very fun. That was a great start. And then the next big revelation that happens is that Karen and Giselle start to turn on Stacy because Stacy doesn't like the confrontation that they all did against Mia. You remember at the end of last week's episode,
Yes.
Mia kind of gets put through the ringer once Karen and Giselle confront her on all of her lies. Well, Stacy didn't like how they confronted Mia about this. She's not like well enough. She doesn't know the show format well enough to understand why they would use Ashley Darby's drag king performance to confront someone like that. She's just shocked by it. And then Karen and Giselle immediately turn on Stacy with all of their power to make Stacy look like absolute shit. And Stacy strikes back in a big way.
Really?
With Mia. It's like
Together with Mia.
in a way.
Okay.
And I might be overhyping it. People who've watched Potomac, you tell me, Riley, what the hell? You were describing it absolutely horribly. But it was the first test where people were like, Stacy, you did something wrong. And Giselle and Karen are OGs.
Yeah.
So they know how to ice people out, piss people off, say the worst things you've ever heard about someone in a confessional. They use their power, their knowledge to go against Stacy. And I think Stacy has a kind of a climactic, wonderful moment at the end of the episode. It was
Okay.
It was fun, and it just proved Stacy's merit even more than I already thought of Stacy. It was fun.
Great.
And Stacy introduces that they're going to have a runway show, but it's for a humane center society. So when they're walking down the runway, they're all going to be holding dogs and cats.
Cute.
And then in the finale, one of the dogs gets loose and starts taking, I'm going to say the word, going to the bathroom uncontrollably. And they give it the edit like everyone is screaming, running to the exits, like a fire is erupting in the place because multiple dogs started, I'm going to say it, pissing and shitting at this runway show. And they give it the most chaotic edit I've ever seen. It looks so
I can't
funny.
wait. I mean, we talked like 5 times about the edit they gave that dog that showed up at Karen's house that just stood there, and they played like Jaws music. Like it was like an 8-pound dog.
It is like that. It's a really good episode. It brought a spark of life back to the
Good.
franchise. It was really fun. Kay has a very endearing scene with Greg, which I won't step on. So let's make sure that we give it maybe 15 minutes before the finale next week to give it its due. If you
I
don't,
promise I'll watch it.
okay, all right, sounds good. Okay, well then let's go into something. Actually, Potomac brought me the most joy this week, which that joy will be transcended when I talk about it next week. But Beverly Hills, in the opposite way, it was actually the most pissed off I could ever be watching an episode.
Really?
Well, yeah. I thought you would agree with me, but
Well, let's get into it. But that's
Okay.
interesting. Do you mean in the sense that you're still sick of the topic?
well, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah.
I mean, it was even more text stuff.
Yeah. What episode is this? We've talked about it like for 7 weeks or something.
Which episode is this?
Yeah.
They were talking about Beverly Hills.
Yeah. Like
Oh,
I'm just
9.
saying- it's 9. Okay.
So we've had
Yeah,
about
it's a
5
little bit
episodes.
brutal.
Yeah. So we've had 5 episodes about this. This is called Beachy Keen. And I thought about you because you said last week, you go, if I have to see Garcelle's goddamn beach house again, I'm going to blow my brains out. And then all of a sudden, immediately, it was a full beach house
I know.
Garcelle episode.
I know. I was Jimmy watched this one with me, and I was like, every week it's like she's saying how proud she is of her beach house. So I'm like, that's fine. I do find it a little bit infantilizing the way they're like, it's amazing that she's been able to do this. And I'm like, aren't you all like successful women? But I was like, I guess I'll hand it to her that she's the only one that doesn't have a rich husband or didn't have a rich husband. So I will give her that. But I'm just like, we've celebrated the fact that she bought a beach house already. Like, we've done that. Also, Jimmy was like, oh God. I was like, yeah, it's in like Ventura and it's actually not on the beach. It's a little bit of a ways. And, you know, they showed that it was Oxnard. He was like, oh, that beach sucks. He's like, it's so freezing and it's like near a military base. And then they showed it and the whole bit was that they were so cold.
Yeah. And you see all the fencing, like, no offense to Oxnard, Little Turtle Cuties. I've been to that beach. I would say it's like a 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
But you do see the missile silos of like the missile that it could possibly be launched. That's why there's all that high security fences around it. And it is a dog beach as well, which lends itself to possibly having, you know, piss and shit like we already talked about.
Just thinking that like while they were there, they had to drive all the way there in the van or whatever. Then they have to take the golf cart out. It's cold. And all the while Bose is staying there like, bitch, I have a house on PCH in Malibu. Like, we could just go there.
Totally. Yeah, but they gave, you know, about the beach house. I obviously we both are so proud of Garcelle.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's the fact that Garcelle's storyline is going absolutely no holds barred against Kyle this season, in my opinion, with no merit at all. And then also just talking about the beach house nonstop. You want to see some other stuff going on.
Yeah, like we've already gotten the reveal. Like it should have only been one time that they show the renovation, everyone comes over, and that's it. But I feel like we've done that 3 times. Yeah,
you know, so let's breeze through this thing. So Kyle is talking to Erica, and I liked this. She's talking on the phone. For some reason, at Kyle's house, a bird. This is kind of like, I don't know if it's called symbolism, but a bird keeps crashing into her window trying to die. And I was like, is that a metaphor for them bringing up the text message over and over again and the audience wanting to die as they hear it more and more? And then Kyle goes to Erica, just so you know, I'm not talking about this fucking shit anymore. No more. I'm telling Dorit, if she wants to, we can talk about it one more time. I'm never talking about this again. And I was kind of like, what would happen if Kyle just said, I'm not talking about that text message anymore. Yeah. I'm not.
Go like, dead. What's it called? Rock?
Gray rock?
Yeah, gray rock.
Like, what would they do? They would keep they would keep yelling at her about it. They would keep inferring that it was the worst thing in the world. But eventually, if the principal is not there, what would they do? If Kyle
she should just start drooling and like let her head slump over.
Like you should have a way to be like, well, I don't know though. It's like, and then you wonder, like Lisa Vanderpump
They're
obviously
like,
would have
suspicious.
Right?
Why is Kyle drooling?
Right? It'd be like, yeah, Kyle just completely rolled her eyes back in her head and started drooling. But like, you know, obviously every cast member would want the escape hatch. Like Lisa Vanderpump would have wanted it from Juicy Lucy Rumpelstiltskin when he was asking her, "How do you get your
3
hair
tricks.
so long? Will thy guess my name?" How the hell did she get it again? How the hell did she find out what his name was?
I don't know.
But anyway, I was just like, what would you do? But I was like...
And Erica's the only one that's like, enough of this shit. She goes, there's too many cooks in the kitchen. What are they, like your board of directors? Like, why is everyone just like glomming onto this? Which I agree, it's just boring as fuck.
And you know, people don't agree with us. I mean, people love
people
this.
Are pissed.
People say, I've heard people say, I want more. They say, I want more, every word of that text message read out loud.
Please, fine. I honestly wish that she would just show us every single meme, show us the rest of the text so that we could just be like, okay.
Here's the good thing about it is that it finally does seem dead as a doornail by the end of the episode.
We've said that for weeks.
But this is it. It can't happen again. Okay, then Dorit and Bose have a conversation. I love the place they went. Did you see it at all? What it looked like? Lemons hanging from the rafters, beautiful, airy ambiance. I said, oh my God. I said to myself, I want to go there.
Yeah.
And then Dorit is talking with Bose about the text message again.
Yeah.
And Bose is kind of adding a little more to it, being like, which I was like, I don't know. Like, it feels like Bose knows that Kyle is the one to talk about now. Everyone knows.
Yeah.
It's time to talk about Kyle, and I'm fed up with it. So I was a little bummed out that Bose was trying to make more of it here. She was basically like, Kyle said that, she didn't know about you and PK. And then they show the clip that's supposed to be the evidence that proves. And it's like Dorit saying, sometimes PK and I are not getting along the best when he's in London. And it's like, that wasn't the conversation.
Right.
Of them doing really bad.
Right.
So, and then Dorit kind of lets Bose paint the scene of how awful PK is, because Dorit says, what does she say? She goes, I was always covering up for PK, telling my family not when he, that he wasn't a bad person. And then he's the one, through his sponsor, that
was strange.
broke up with me.
Is that even allowed? Is a sponsor allowed to get involved on that level, where she said it was the three of them and the sponsor is the one that was like, maybe you guys should separate?
Yeah, I'd be like, do you mind if I talk to my significant other? Or did they fully speak for you?
I don't think that's how it's supposed to work.
Yeah, do sponsors say I think PK wants to, he's not speaking right now. His eyes are glazed back in his head and he's drooling.
I'm his representative.
But he wants to separate from you.
That seems like a barrier boundary issue to me.
Yeah, and then Bose gives her more, like a kind of an alley-oop. She says, so not only did you cover up for him, lie for him, he was a piece of shit, but then he's the one who wants to separate from you. And Dorit goes, that's a perfect analysis. Who the fuck have I been married to?
Yeah. She describes Bose as her ride or die.
Yeah.
And she did a pretty substantial happy birthday post on Instagram this week. Like, she was like, I had the honor of accompanying my dearest friend Bose, to New York City on her birthday. Like, it was like a whole thing. I was like, damn, you guys really bonded, huh?
Yeah, I mean, good. It's good. She, at one point in this episode, she says, Bose is the friend I always wanted on this cast.
Okay.
Do you remember that part?
Maybe.
Okay, then Garcelle and Sutton, this conversation made me pissed off.
Yeah.
Again, Kyle is a punching bag for them. People love this, though, so I'm speaking out of school.
Well, it's just like lame. It's like, if every single scene you're talking about the same person, it's just like, okay, like, to me, this isn't the scandal of the century, so you have to do something else. Yeah,
so they're going, why does Kyle want to have a dinner with us before we're going to Garcelle's beach house the next night? It's like, well, first of all, on this show, we would never know what the timeline was. Kyle wants to have a dinner with Erica, Garcelle, and Sutton? Oh my God, on Beverly Hills?
They were so suspicious. I was like, if you didn't say that, I would never have thought it was
right.
weird at
and
all.
So they have to tell the audience why the timing of this is suspicious, and they have the most obviously nefarious interpretation of what Kyle is trying to do. They say that she's trying to rally the troops or whatever. So it's like, okay. So they're
this restaurant also had sort of a wild interior.
Oh my God. I wanted to talk to you. I wrote Arden in all caps. Looked awesome. Fires.
It was very LVP.
Cupids. There was like a Cupid pulling back an arrow for it to be shot into the night. There was fire. There was a bunch of vines coming down. I thought it was absolutely a beautiful restaurant.
I think it's in West Hollywood.
It's across from Hamburger Mary's.
Oh, so like Boys Town.
Yeah. And then, okay, so this scene actually, now I was steamed. I was so pissed. So Garcelle goes, Garcelle is talking a little bit, and Garcelle kind of puts it kind of clearly what they're pissed off about. The fact that one phrase, I've never, she goes, what's the phrase
it's
that
like,
they keep?
I'm trustworthy, like I wouldn't share anything you tell me or whatever. So
Garcelle is like, and then Kyle goes, in 7 years of my friendship, I've obviously texted him more than just memes and jokes. And Garcelle goes, well, the story is shifting like the sands of wherever sands shift. She goes, she said it was just memes and jokes. And it's like, oh my God.
They're taking it so literally.
It's like, it's just like, come on.
They did a montage of her saying it was just memes. I'm like, okay, we don't have to do like forensic analysis. She's just saying like it's casual.
Yeah. And then Garcelle says, I don't know which story of this bullshit is true, but it just doesn't feel right. I was like, okay, well, like you're just telling the audience that you think something is wrong. But we as the audience have all of the information to make our decision. But Garcelle is purposefully trying to create a cloud of doubt in the air for the audience to be like, there's something, it just doesn't feel right. It's like, again, I don't want to scream. What doesn't feel right? What is wrong?
Yeah. Well, Garcelle is like, Kyle, why don't you just admit that sometimes you talk shit about Dorit to PK? She's like, because I don't. And also it's like, okay, well, why don't you tell someone you talk shit about that you talk shit? Like, why would she want to do that?
Yeah. It's, people love this, but I have to say, it's time to move on. They order the meatballs. Arden is famous for their meatballs. And then I
just want to bring this up before you move on. Kyle says that she prides herself on being a truthful person. That montage was shade against her, right? They show a clip of her making Denise talk about something she didn't want to talk about, Erica talk about something she didn't want to talk about, and Sutton talk about something she didn't want to talk about.
No, I have to say, I think she said, and I try to keep honesty within the group or something in her confessional. And I thought that was to bolster her as like that she doesn't let people get away.
But does she do it herself? Because she's basically, all the examples are of her poking people to talk about things they didn't want to talk about while everyone's poking her about something she doesn't want to talk about.
But yeah.
Which is what everyone's issue is.
So has Kyle not talked about this enough?
Well, they're not getting the answer they want.
They want Kyle to say, I confide in PK. I keep all of his secrets. He talks shit about Dorit with me every week. I love PK
Sometimes
more.
I send him nudes.
It has bordered on flirtatious. I want to commit girls code to hell.
Yeah.
And I will never follow it again for the rest of my life because of my loyalty to PK.
My, I guess, main gripe with this is like, people will disagree. Are we not, everyone's different. To some people, unacceptable. To others, surely fine.
Yeah.
If you are friends with a couple, when you are in a couple and you're a foursome and your husbands are friends and you are friends, but you're all friends, when that other couple separates, not because of infidelity or something horrible, at least to your knowledge, they just separated because the marriage dissolved, you're not allowed to talk to that person anymore? That's not, in my opinion, an obvious thing.
No, it's not. I will say, in Dorit's defense, she gets very clear cut in the final conversation, which we'll talk about, which I was just like, finally, you're just saying exactly point blank what you want to get from this.
Yeah.
But no, it is not. To me, I have been in a situation similar to this, and it's not just so clear cut that I would absolutely write off the other significant other. I would be not a vault of secrets for shit talking, but you just want to say, just so you know, I love you too. And even if I'm on the side of the person that broke up with you or that you broke up with, I just still want you to know that I'm here for you. That's all that Kyle was saying.
Yeah.
Like, really? I mean, that is what she was saying. And I guess people want to assume that, no, it's because she wants to talk shit about Dorit with PK and she's more loyal to PK, which, okay, if you think that that's horrible, then whatever. Hate Kyle forever.
Yeah. It's just like, I don't know. I'm like, and then once your friend does make it clear, like, actually, I'm going through a lot with him and it really does bum me out and like irk me that you talk to him, then you can be like, that's cool. But the idea to be like, she's not a girl's girl because she didn't make that assumption immediately. It's like, I just think that's a little much.
There's absolutely nothing more innocuous than what Kyle said. It really.
I know people get so mad.
Sorry, people hate Kyle. No.
Riled up about it.
I mean, seriously, we're going through this with Lisa Barlow. People hate Lisa Barlow. They despise her. So obviously when Bronwyn brings up a bunch of shit about how Lisa behaved badly, people cash in. All of
Yeah.
their Lisa hate chips. If you and I try to be as objective as possible. And if someone that we absolutely love does something wrong, I would call them out.
Yeah.
But for me, I enjoy Kyle. I wouldn't even say I'm the biggest Kyle fan in the world.
No.
I really enjoy Kyle.
Yeah.
She's very fun to watch, but I would talk shit if she was doing bad stuff. I would love to.
Totally. Like, if anything, I am like, I actually do get the thing that people are like, she's not putting her money where her mouth is regarding like her current lifestyle. Like, I think it's a little much to say she's never given to the show, because I disagree. But yeah, like, if she really had the cojones, she would be like, you know what, like, I am like kind of interested in being a little bit gay right now. Like, it's weird, but like, I feel good. Like, just like that there is a boundary up that is disappointing
For Kyle
Yes.
heads. Yeah. I definitely wish that she would have like specifically said if Mauricio cheated. I wish she
Yeah.
would have. I felt like she alluded to it as much as she possibly could. But yeah, I accept that people absolutely hate Kyle and hate this about her. So
Yeah.
it must be frustrating to
what
listen
it
to.
is.
I mean, and then I think I have to grant Sutton. I have to give her possibly the worst performance I've ever seen from someone
She's
on
pissing me
a
off.
franchise ever. Like I was just like, this sucks so bad. I've never seen anything like it. Sutton arrives and she immediately, it's the center diamond holder syndrome that I talked about last week.
Yeah.
She thinks this is her season. It's the season of sisterhood or whatever she wanted to
Oh my
declare, that it
God.
flopped like a thousand fishes in the first episode. Now she goes, so why the hell are we all here today? Which is like immediately taking us all out of the scene,
Yeah.
calling into question Kyle's motivation, which for no reason really, because we wouldn't
Yeah.
have had any clue
Right.
had you not told us why it's so weird to have dinner with people to apologize to them before
Yeah.
Garcelle's beach house
She
day.
literally preemptively apologized for the exact thing you're mad about.
Yeah.
She said, essentially, I'm sorry about storming out. She's like, I am sorry about how I handled the conversation at the massage thing, and I felt bad about storming out. And she goes, so what exactly are you apologizing for? Like, what exactly did you say that you regret? Like, what do you mean?
Sorry, I got confused by all of the words you said. The I'm and the sorry and the for what you said. I'm kind of like, I need to be clear on what you're apologizing for. And then Kyle's like, I feel bad for how I left. And then she goes, what exactly, specifically? It's like, Sutton, what the hell is going on here? First of all, the reason why it made me mad was because Sutton asked in last week's episode, she went to Garcelle's house and said, I want Kyle to apologize for storming out of that house.
Yeah.
I will not bow down to the altar of Kyle Richards. And then Kyle does exactly
Yeah.
what she wanted. And then she makes her fight for every second
Everyone's
of that
laughing
apology.
at her. They're
You know,
like, this is insane.
and it's very badly acted by
Yeah.
Sutton. I mean,
It's
I don't want to
ridiculous.
I don't want to say it's acted, but it is just it's such a misread of how to act in this scene, of how
Well,
to
she
perform
keeps,
in
like,
this scene.
She thinks that she's like eating it up. Like,
Yeah.
she goes, I know why she invited us all here. It was because so that she would have allies before we go to Garcelle's or whatever. And I was like, yeah, welcome to the fucking Housewives, fool. And she was like, well, I am not. She goes, Erica might be a minion, but me and Garcelle are not minions. I was like, Erica's not a fucking minion.
Seriously, she's the only one who has the right take on everything that's going on. The only person I can rely on to get us through this
You know,
dreadful.
classic minion Erica.
Yeah, absolutely not. She just is so fucking tired of this shit. Like we are personally.
She has like one of the best backbones of all time, I would say.
Absolutely. What Kyle did wrong is relying on Garcelle and Sutton for 1 second to be
Foolish.
her friend. I remember that totally. I remember that Sutton and Kyle did have an era. And then the name shit happened or whatever
Oh,
the
right.
hell that was.
Yeah.
And then now I think Sutton wants to get one over on Kyle. She wants to use Kyle's misfortune to her benefit for
Yeah.
entertainment. So does Garcelle, unfortunately.
Well, that's what Erica brings up. She goes, why are you like trying to make her eat shit while she's getting divorced?
Yes.
Like, remember when you were getting divorced, and remember when Garcelle like emailed the entire address book of CAA to call out her cheating husband? Like, I'm like, Yeah, why aren't you allowing for her to be like stressed out right now at all?
Yeah, so I don't know what Kyle could do because we've talked about this. Her full alliance has crumbled. She now only has Erica because Dorit is gone from her. But you could still navigate the world without confiding in Garcelle and Sutton. I think it would be hard because you would have no allies. You'd be very isolated. But Kyle is powerful enough, and they want to film Kyle enough to where I think she could overcome not having Garcelle and Sutton in her corner, because Garcelle and Sutton have proven that they despise Kyle in a way, and are trying to make a meal of everything that Kyle is doing. So those are my thoughts. I was anybody should watch how Sutton, if you didn't think that Sutton was acting kind of strange in this scene, let us know. But I thought it was
the next one, we'll get into that. But also I was surprised that the Erica's joke went over so well at the end of Sutton goes, "I've been the judge and and Erica goes, and the executioner." And they're all like, ha, 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 ha.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm surprised she wasn't like pissed off about that.
Yeah. And it's bad for Sutton when Garcelle is laughing at her.
Yeah.
Totally. I think they all they think Sutton is very odd, which we've seen. And
she is.
And they're kind of like, we all have our grudges. You can tell Erica has also been fed up with Sutton in the past too, even though they're seemingly cool with each other. Like Erica kind of has words for Sutton as well.
Yeah. Well, that's why not to get ahead of it, but next week it looks like Dorit and Sutton are going to get into it. And I'm like, well, like the alliances are falling,
it's weird alliance-wise because Sutton and Garcelle absolutely despise Dorit too. Right. So they're kind of just like playing both of them off each other.
Yeah.
Okay, this scene makes no sense. I'm glad we got it, but they all go to Kyle's house to go to Oxnard, to go to Garcelle. So it's kind of like a meeting where they can all carpool in their cars. But I was like, I know it's a show, but why would Dorit go to Kyle's house to carpool before going to Garcelle's beach house within the realm of this story? It makes no sense besides the fact that they just wanted them all in the same cars together because it's convenient for production. But it makes no sense that Dorit would go to Kyle's at this time.
It was kind of awkward, but I guess they were like, Encino makes the most sense. And Dorit comes in and she's like, I kind of like going through some shit right now. She says that she was walking the dogs with her kids and that Jagger was like, "Mommy, are you and Daddy divorced?"
Yeah, and Bose goes, "Oh my God, did you start running away from Jagger?" I thought that was so funny of Bose.
And he goes, "Did you post something on Instagram?"
And then so we find out that Jagger at school or something, probably one of the kids went, "Jagger, did you see?" Would he be in a school with a bunch of other half British kids?
Yes.
"Did you see what your mummy posted on Instagram?" And he goes, "No, I didn't." And it was the separation thing. And she goes, "You can't." And Erica goes, "Oh, try as you might, you cannot keep secrets such as this from children." I was thinking, oh my gosh, now as a father, what the hell will be going on with 15-year-olds when I'm trying to keep my dark secrets from coming to light?
She's going to see all these Turtle Time clips on TikTok and be like, "Daddy has the wrong take.
Daddy, you didn't, why didn't you think Kyle's text messages were actually really offensive to Dorit?" Okay, then she's going, she's talking about this walk with Jagger. She goes, "You and Daddy will always be best friends, right?" And then that's when Sutton goes, "Shut up! Speaking of best friends, I'm sorry. Speaking of best friends, I did get a note from Garcelle and she wants the day to be positive and fun and put everything aside, and I think we need to go."
It was insane.
So what we have to now say, what the hell was Sutton thinking and what is going on? Was it
she glitched?
Was it that she actually wanted them to make the call time, the 45-minute in the future call time, because Garcelle was sending ... where the hell are you guys? Were they possibly late? And Dorit was being long-winded, as is her wont, and Sutton had to nip it in the bud? Or was there something different going on? Sutton didn't want Dorit to make a huge scene, a pivotal climactic scene with new revelations being brought to light at Kyle's house before they got to Garcelle's.
Yeah, it was very strange. Like, my initial instinct was like, maybe she thinks that she shouldn't be talking about this or something, but that doesn't really make sense. But then they showed the clip of the way she glitched out about when she was talking about that like designer got caught in customs right after Dorit got held at gunpoint, and she was like, well, I didn't get caught at held at gunpoint or anything. And Kyle was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, sometimes she just says like really wacky shit.
I felt like it was I felt like Sutton didn't want whatever Dorit was doing to happen at Kyle's, and in a way to assert control or authority of a season that is slowly slipping through her fingers. It was a way to establish dominance and power over Dorit. And Dorit handles it like a pro. She goes, before I was absolutely rudely interrupted. And then Sutton interrupts her again. And goes,
she's like, we really must be going.
Yeah, and Dorit goes, Sutton, I have to say, you were one of the strangest pumpkins I've ever laid my eyes upon.
It was very weird.
So I don't know. No matter what the most charitable interpretation for what Sutton did, we don't see scenes like that because people do have the tact to not interrupt like that. So again, it was a sort of a performance issue, a what the hell are you doing issue.
Yeah.
She had just done it in the previous scene, and then this one was just like, what the hell was that?
Yeah, and especially because it started out with the sentiment that about the positivity shit again, where she was like, Garcelle wants this. It was like her sisterhood spiel again, and I was like, I cannot hear this again. Like,
No.
I cannot. Like, please.
No, it flopped
stop.
when you did it before. It can never happen again. When Dorit said, what a strange pumpkin, I was thinking of when, is it Cinderella, her carriage turns into a pumpkin at the end of the night?
Yes.
Is that what she was saying?
I don't know.
Like, Sutton, your time just expired. Your chariot is about to turn into a pumpkin. I didn't understand, but I could
It might
not
have
believe.
just been a term of endearment.
Oh, okay.
Like pumpkin dumpling.
But Dorit, had a lot of tact to tolerate that. I felt like, Dorit could have really gone back at Sutton and
especially
been
because of the sensitive topic.
like, totally. And again, it's kind of, Sutton's making us have to think about the call times and getting to Garcelle's. We don't care if flies start getting on the chicken at her beach house, if they're going to have a great scene at Kyle's house. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So then, they drive over there. She's waiting. Jennifer Tilly brings her a Dolce & Gabbana Smeg toaster.
This thing was beautiful. Blue and white.
Pricey.
$700.
I have a Smeg, but not like that.
Damn, how much, can I ask how much yours was?
Might have been like $200. I always wanted one, and then when my house burned down, I was like, I'm buying it.
Oh, good. Oh,
Because I had the same toaster for like 15 years before that.
oh, what kind of qualities define a good smeg?
It's mostly aesthetic.
What did that look like? Hers? Like, was it kind of like?
It had like a blue and white like toile Italian print on it. I've seen it before. They also make one that's in the more like Italian colors, like red, yellow, blue, green, like a more bright one.
It looks beautiful. And then Erica goes, if I was coveting thy neighbor's goods before, you better believe I covet thy good of the toaster that Garcelle just received. Can I shout out my toaster?
Please.
It's the Our Place Everything oven.
Oh, is it like it's also an air fryer?
It does everything. It's a small oven, toaster, air fryer. It does almost
That's
everything.
Great. It's cute too.
You know what I'm talking about?
Can they
That one that's-
sponsor us?
Our Place, please, for the love of God. No, I love that toaster. Okay, speaking of toasters,
Speaking of Sutton,
Sutton,
the only thing worth saying about the brief moment they're in the house is that she gives them little outfits to wear. And I don't even like know what to say about this. Sutton comes down the stairs in her outfit she got. It's like a little like blue and white, what do you call that? Like seersucker, like shorts and a button up. And she hikes the shorts up so high, and just like something about her body type, the way that the proportions look, I like screamed. Like, I watched it 5 times. I was like, what the fuck? And everyone in the room was like, what are you doing? Like, why are you wearing it like that?
Yeah, it was funny. It was Bose goes, your waist, Sutton. They can go on your waist. Your waist is down.
And I
Also-
literally sent it to my friends, the video. I was like, I'm dying. And then my friend responded that Drunk Drawn, that account, had
Did
done
it?
an amazing illustration
Oh,
of
that's
her
so
coming down the stairs. And I
funny.
was like, I knew it was funny.
That is so funny. And Dorit does say, I like this little peek behind the curtain. Dorit goes, I didn't get dressed up in like my best outfit that I want on camera to have to wear a bunch of pajamas that Garcelle gives me.
Yeah.
But I didn't know how many people converted to pajamas and how long did that take?
Right.
No, did they all convert to pajamas? I felt like it was kind of like a combo.
Yeah, I don't know if everyone changed because then they all were wearing blankets at the beach because it was so freezing.
Right. And then they go to Oxnard, and they take 2 golf carts. They get to it, and then Garcelle has a setup, bar.
Hmm. I was wondering, do you think that because they got probably a filming permit, they got to have the bar? Because I assume most California beaches, you cannot just have a full bar.
Yeah, what the hell? Yeah, on a public beach. What I wonder what kind of permit shit went into that. But you're
Yeah.
right. Yeah, and then Jennifer Tilly, I thought this was funny. Jennifer Tilly goes, "Take a photo of me, please." And the bartender goes, "Oh, you don't want me making your drink. I got it." And I was like, "Whoa, damn." I was like, "Why
Yeah,
did
they
you say
seem
that?"
pissed off.
Yeah.
They talk about, Garcelle brings up how hard it is about the Jagger thing. Like, her kids told her when she got divorced that when they're with their dad, they miss her, and when they're with her, they miss their dad. And she was just saying it sucks. So I feel bad for her. So she threw her a bone there and was like, I understand what she's going through. It's horrible.
Totally. And now let me give the Turtle Time stamp of approval on, I think, a good scene. Well, like, pretty good scene just because it answered the questions or cleared everything up for me pretty well. Kyle and Dorit say, "Let me have a minute with you." They go on a blanket on the beautiful Oxnard coast, and Dorit goes, "Let me start." And I was like, damn, oh no, God, if Dorit starts, this is going to be shit.
Yeah.
But Dorit actually goes, a good, very clear question.
Yeah.
Did you consider us good friends? And Kyle goes, yes. And I was like, already, that's ground covered. I
Yes.
love that was just established and answered.
Yeah.
Do you want to salvage our friendship? I do. Do you? And then Dorit says, when you said that thing to PK, that I've never repeated anything, I know you were saying that you wouldn't repeat it to me. And then Kyle pushes back. She goes, that is not my intention. I
Yeah.
would never repeat things that you said to me to him. So they kind of get that. That's where now they're talking about the text message.
Yeah.
So first the two first questions were great. Then they ask a little bit about the ambiguousness of what that text meant.
I got afraid at that moment that it was just going to get into the quibble of the semantics. But yeah, she, again, very clear. She goes, are you my friend or his?
Right.
And, again, she's like, you should be a girl's girl. Kyle says, like, she says, he doesn't talk badly about you, and I don't to him either.
Yes.
Like, that's not what we're doing.
Yes. Yes. We are not a vault of secrets for each other about your shitty marriage.
Yeah.
Yes. And then, so Kyle says at the beginning or at the end of this conversation, she goes, I wasn't thinking of choosing a side. Just like what we said about a married couple that separates and you're friends with both. You're maybe friends with one more, but you still want to offer condolences and love and support for the other. Because I wasn't thinking of that. But if Dorit wants that, if that's a huge issue for her and it is about the loyalty and all that stuff, I completely understand that. And I think women should support each other through things such as these.
Yes. Yeah. She made a good remark where she was like, it's so dumb that we are going after each other when we're both going through basically the same thing. Like, it's so stupid. And they hug and it feels good. Like, I was like, okay, this is like, I mean, they've already made up once or twice, so who knows? But
this is the most clear it's ever been about what Dorit was pissed off about, and Kyle gave the answers that I think Dorit will finally respect unless something new comes to light. And I feel like even Dorit knows that in terms of spinning her wheels, we've spun the shit out of that.
Yeah.
They cannot be spun anymore. So even Dorit, who knows from an entertainment value, it has to be done, at least for a bit.
yeah, I just want them to make up because then everyone else will have to get a job.
Right. No,
Like, if they're good, then what is everyone else going to talk about?
No. And towards the end of the episode, you can already feel the dynamic is shifting. they are not going to be allowed to talk shit about Kyle if Dorit is not the one mad anymore.
Yeah, although they'll probably get her pissed off again. Because they're
Possibly.
like, can we still talk about this?
Yeah. So then they get back and they're having a little bit of a beach lunch. They're cold as hell. Someone says Erica looks just like E.T., the extraterrestrial, when he's wearing that big, big blanket and being flown by Elliot.
Yeah. The lower third says it's 62 degrees, which as an Angelino, I'm like, cold as fuck. But I was like, was that shade to like the rest of the nation to say that it's foolish that they're so cold at that temperature?
Absolutely ridiculous of production to pretend like it's not cold at
In the
62
wind?
degrees on a windy Oxnard day. That is freezing temperature. Garcelle goes, I've got a few shitty games we could play. What would you do for $1 million? And everybody goes, ugh. God, that sucks.
The indecent proposal game is kind of fun.
Yeah, then someone says, "You remember that movie with Demi Moore?" And they go, "Indecent Proposal." Bose, for the first time ever, someone tried to make the games more fun. Bose starts asking hypotheticals that are more fun than what Garcelle was asking. She goes, "What the hell? What if it was $20 million?" And then Erica goes, "Oh my God, I am definitely having sex for that." And Garcelle goes, "I've done it for less."
Everyone's like, do tell.
Yeah, and then I forget, and then Bose goes, "Let's go a step further. What if it was your man and he got offered $20 million to have sex with someone?" And they go, "Same answer.
Yeah.
$20 million is amazing."
Would I let some chick fuck Tom Girardi and I get 20 million? Yeah.
God, yeah, that would be. You know how that would hurt her though to imagine Tom.
Well, he already was, and she didn't get the cash.
God, do you remember when we found out that Tom Girardi would go into his office and he'd go, "Sweetheart, I'm going to my office," and then he had a photo of the love of
In
his
the
life
Resolute desk.
underneath his desk, and he would look at it piningly. Oh my God. Well, anyway, and then and then I like this. Okay, so Garcelle's shitty games, which that's the last thing I ever want to see. They kind of do a little better with it and only lasts for 30 seconds, which I was fine.
Yeah.
And then Dorit goes, "Erica has never had a true love." And I was like, wow, that was interesting of Dorit to say. And then we get this beautiful flashback monologue that I don't remember where Erica concurs. And it was Erica
It
going,
was in her drunk era.
yeah, she goes, "I want one great love affair. I want to meet someone like you do in the movies where you hold them close and you kiss and you just can't stand being apart." And I was like, whoa, damn, Dorit was right. Erica did
Yeah.
say that she never had true love before.
Yeah. We got a little Sam Simon
Yep.
shout out from Jennifer Tilly. She's like, I thank him every time I get to spend all of his Simpsons money
Yeah,
every day.
she goes, "Whenever there's a valet parking spot and I don't have to drive for free parking, I think of Sam. Whenever there's a Gucci outfit that is $1,000, I think of Sam. It's like he's everywhere around me." I thought that was beautiful.
Yeah. And then they were going to do the like releasing of the lanterns thing, but it's windy as fuck.
Yeah.
And they cannot do it. And honestly, I was happy to see them have fun.
Me too. Kyle really goes comedy mode, which I was loving. Kyle's like down on the ground, and she's going, "Oh, our wishes are complete shit now." The thing starts
She was like, I'm
sputtering.
going to piss.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. What did she say? I have
She's
to
like,
piss?
I'm going to piss my pants.
Yeah, she's got to piss. The flame lantern, there's a fire in it, and it's spiraling off God knows where in that lantern. And then Kyle is on the ground. She goes, "I see a dead bird." And then everybody screams and runs off. And it was, finally a little bit of fun.
RHONY Part 2, Dead Pigeon.
Seriously, I was like, oh, another beach.
Common to have a dead bird on a beach.
Yeah, I said another beach with a dead bird on it.
Yeah. She should be concerned that there was a bird that ran into her window. There's a dead bird on the beach. What does it mean?
I that's what I kept thinking. It was almost perfectly bookended on this episode of what that bird that was crashing into the windows, and then
Remember
once it's
in
dead.
The Lighthouse, they're like, never kill a seabird.
That I've never seen The Lighthouse.
Oh, really?
I've never I think because I didn't see it in a theater, it tests the limits of the
I think
movie.
they're showing all his movies. I'll send it to you.
Okay. Did you see that he went absolutely nuts in the Criterion closet?
Ooh, that's fun.
Criterion.
Good picks?
Well, shit that I didn't understand.
Yeah.
Well, some good. Yeah, of course, great picks. I think he's got
Yeah,
great
he's into
taste.
like some weird shit.
He's kind of humorless though.
Yeah.
He doesn't have good taste. I don't think he has good taste in humor.
Yeah.
Ari Aster is the one. Like Ari Aster is actually very funny and has more horrifying shit. Like than Robert
Oh,
Eggers.
yeah,
Not
you
to-
saw
not to-
Nosferatu, right?
yeah.
We didn't talk about it. Did you like it?
You know,
It has some laughs.
yeah, funny stuff in it. Count Orlok, don't get me started. Funny mustache.
The memes are popping. The Nosferatu memes have kept me alive
Yeah.
for 2 months.
I didn't love it as much as I thought. I
That's what
am
I thought.
such a sucker, no pun intended, like a vampire, for the Dracula mythology.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it just didn't do it for me. And I'm even trying to remember. I was left feeling as cold as a vampire after I got
It
done with
dragged.
Dragged a little bit.
If they tightened it up, it could have been more fun.
Yeah, I didn't like that Count Orlok was kind of like he didn't have the supernatural quality, which I know he's not supposed to be Dracula, but he was kind of just like a weird ex-boyfriend that like stunk and you
That's
had
like kind of
sex with.
funny though.
Yeah, but I wanted it to be scarier. I realized I'm not a huge Nicholas Hoult guy. He kind of is a charisma black hole for me.
What about Aaron Taylor Johnson?
Oh, I thought he was awful.
Yeah.
Awfully cast. Willem Dafoe, I love him. Don't get me started. Willem Dafoe heads and Willem Dafoe, when you're watching this, don't get me mad. But sometimes he is it's impossible for me to not take him as a funny person.
It was funny.
Yeah.
I think it was supposed to be funny.
I guess, but Van Helsing is not supposed. I don't want Van Helsing or whatever that guy's name is in the ripoff version to be funny.
Oh, okay.
And I don't think he was supposed to be that. Oh, no, he has like one laugh. I don't think he was supposed to be so funny to me.
I read it as funny.
Oh, okay. Well, I was then that was tonally off for me to
Yeah.
have a funny Willem Dafoe running around. But no, but then again, whenever I talk shit about like a Robert Eggers movie, all of a sudden flashes of the shittiest fucking movies I've ever seen in my life from the last 3 years blow in my brain. And I'm like,
At least he's trying.
I won't say one bad word about Robert Eggers. Make 1,000 movies for the rest of your life. They will be by far better than any of the fucking slop we have to deal with. So
I thought Lily Rose was good.
yeah, she was fine. She was great. She was good. It was just, expectations. I just wanted a little more. I thought it was beautiful. Sound design was cool. Looked amazing.
Cool shadow shit.
I realize sorry to talk about Nosferatu. I love the Dracula Castle stuff in Bram Stoker's Dracula, the Francis Ford Coppola one. And in all the Draculas, I love Harlow, what's his last name? I don't know. Harrow. I love him being in the castle. He has way more time. It felt like they really skimped on him being sort of Orlok's prisoner in the castle, which is one of my favorite parts of the mythology of Dracula. So that was a bummer too.
Well, now that I know you've seen it, I'll send you my favorite memes.
Oh, I would love that. So speaking of dead animals, dead animals, because I think those are in Nosferatu. Oh, no, sorry. No, we were already speaking of dead animals. There's no dead animals in the next thing that we're about to talk about. Are you ready to rip on over to RHONY, or do you want to, like me, possibly take a certified turtle piss break?
We can break.
Okay, is that okay with you?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, we're going to take a certified turtle piss, and we'll be right back.
Bye.
We're back.
Hello.
RHONY Season 15 Reunion Part 1. What the hell did you think about this?
I was entertained. I felt like finally the amount of drama or betrayal / lies that happened at the end made it worthwhile. Like, I think if the last episode wouldn't have happened, I don't know what we would have really talked about, but it made everyone pissed off enough that like they brought the fire. Like Jenna was finally able to be like pissed off.
Yeah,
know?
That's exactly right. That's exactly how I felt. It's like if you were watching this reunion, you wouldn't think that this was one of the biggest dud seasons of all time.
Yeah.
Because what Brynn did gave a certain kind of relevance to all of the lying storylines and stuff throughout, and it got everybody fired up, just like you said.
Yeah.
So I actually thought it was pretty good,
Yeah.
especially for a shitty season. So they really got a huge burst of energy with that last
And
episode.
for part one. Sometimes it takes a while, but this one was pretty good. And Becky wasn't even on it.
It completely makes sense to me.
Well, totally. But I was kind of like,
She's
Does-
popping out.
doesn't she have an apple?
No. Raquel got the full
Raquel
time
has
cast.
the apple.
So they try people out, and then when they're looking at the edits, at some point they decide who should get the full-time cast member and who is relegated to a friend of.
Right. Like they
And
don't even know while they're filming.
Yeah, and for sure in that process they were like, Becca Minkoff is not getting an apple, I don't think. So
Yeah.
it makes complete sense. I mean, I don't even know, I don't even know what she'll talk about when she comes out there. But
Totally.
yeah, she's not there. What did you think? So all of a sudden we're watching people walk out, and I will say, I go, wait, people normally don't wear bathrobes to the reunion. Jenna wore a bathrobe and a bath hat. What's that called? A towel on her head.
Yeah.
And a sunglasses to cover her eyes. And I go, wait, that's different than what people wear. What did you think?
Andy was gagged. He was like, "This is it," and she goes, "This is it," and he's like, "You are changing the name of the game every step of the way," and he's like, "But you will be needing to take those sunglasses off, please."
He goes, he goes, when are you going to take your sunglasses off, please? So what did you think about Jenna changing the game from jeans, which some say was casual? They were like, jeans imply casual. And then now it doesn't get much more casual than what you wear after a
Yeah.
bath
I
or
will
shower.
say, I told you this already, but the gusto was sort of taken out of it because I've already seen Rita Ora wear this to a red carpet. I've seen it.
Oh, you already told me that?
I've seen it.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. So
But she went on to say, which I was like, did you want to say this on camera as like a woman in fashion? She goes, Andy's like, please hold on to this robe because we need to put it at BravoCon. And she goes, I was going to return it. It was really expensive. And he was like, how much was it? She was like $1,500. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but like, that's a lot to you.
Well, do you think, I thought she was maybe, even though Jenna, maybe her humor bone was off a little bit, I thought she might be trying to give a little bit of a wink to the thought or idea that she's broke.
No.
You don't think?
I think she really meant she was going to return it.
Really?
Because then Bryn was like, my dress was $7,000 and I bought it.
But even 1,500, I mean, that would obviously ruin my life, but it wouldn't. I don't know. I could still keep it. I assume Jenna Lyons has more money than me.
I'm surprised she like couldn't get that pulled through a stylist, frankly.
Yeah, that's why I thought she was kidding, but you're right. Quite
It didn't
possibly.
read as a joke to me. And the response, no one laughed.
Well, sounds like a typical Jenna joke then. Just kidding, Jenna. I think you're an amazing cast member.
But I'm like, can Andy just give her the $1,500 from the budget for BravoCon?
Yeah, I mean, but again, I have to say, Andy's reverence for Jenna always seems a little odd to me. I'm like, instantly to the Bravo vault.
Well, he does open, one of the first things he says is sort of throwing her under the bus. Like once the reunion starts, he does kind of put her in her place, actually.
Yeah, but he does say, like, I want the jeans at BravoCon. I want this robe at BravoCon. It's like, is it instantly iconic that she
Right.
wore a robe?
I will say the fashions at BravoCon were one of the less interesting things. Like
What were they again?
it would be like reunion dresses and stuff like that, but I'm like, okay, maybe we already talked about it last week, but maybe Ariana's revenge dress, that at least was like a moment,
Yeah.
that you'd be like, oh, like I remember that.
I'll
But-
never forget James's face when he saw it. He stuck his little tongue out and he made this kind of wiggle. It was wild.
And then maybe like Kenya's staff and crown from the reunion that she gets into the fist fight with Portia over because she
Uh-huh.
keeps
Oh, yeah.
putting the staff or whatever you
Oh,
want.
yeah.
What do you call that? Like a fairy wand?
Yeah. Lydia's
in her
chaplain.
face.
Lydia's chaplain outfit.
Yeah. But like reunion dresses are usually just like Giovanni
Yeah.
bullshit. Like they're not that interesting.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, I get it. Andy, you really think this is interesting. It just kind of it epitomizes the sort of Jenna fandom that I'll never understand.
Yeah. I'm
Kinda
like,
giving her-
that's not a Housewives make to
Yeah,
me just
yeah.
because you wore a Balenciaga robe. But
And Andy says, we're joined by the funny, fashionable women of New York City. I said, okay, I'll give you fashionable, but funny. This is the most distinctly unfunny cast in all of Bravo history.
absolutely.
Right? Why of the two words do you give them
Undeniably so.
funny?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're the lack of humor is what's ruining this franchise. But
Absolutely
anyway,
terrible.
he goes,
Um,
sorry, he goes, he goes, Jessel, he goes, hey, Jessel, your 10-year anniversary came up. What the hell did he get you a gift finally? Did you like this?
An iPhone 16. Everyone's like, huh? And she's like, I wanted it. I'm like, can't you just like buy that on the payment plan where it's like $20 a month?
Yeah, I don't know why, because it's obviously a gift. Like, it costs money, but for some reason, phones just seem like something that you just kind of like turn
It's like
in.
not a fun purchase. It's like a utility.
Yeah, it's like everything.
It's like getting a vacuum.
Yes,
or
I kind of
something.
felt bad. I felt bad that Jessel was excited about that.
I'm like, I know those can be like $2,000 if you get like a big one, but I'm like, if he bought you like a $2,000 ring, that would have been like way nicer.
And I don't know what iPhone they're on, so I was like, are we on 19?
Oh, like it was like not even new.
I just didn't know,
Maybe he got her one with like a terabyte on it though.
Oh my, yeah, fully loaded. But Andy gives it kind of a questioning look. He goes, "Oh, that's kind of interesting." I wish Pavid just. I know that Pavid has very low expectations because he's not romantic or whatever. But Pavid, I hope you appreciate Jessel and get her something nice one time.
Yeah,
not just an iPhone.
totally. It comes up that Bryn is watching the finale in the makeup chair. Which, I mean, I know it hasn't aired yet, but they have access to the episodes. And I'm like, you didn't want to come prepared?
Yeah.
Because, like, you're going to get eaten alive.
Yeah. And she's kind of making dismissive faces as she watches it. Like, this sucks.
Yeah.
Like, oh, God. What is Sai saying? Like, she's really kind of, like, making fun of the impact of what she did, which is not a good way, not a good foot to get off for me to be like possibly sympathetic towards you, that you're kind of writing off how you acted in the finale, and we're
Right.
seeing your real-time reaction.
She also opens up unchanged completely by greeting Andy by saying, "Hi, Daddy."
She calls him Daddy, and she goes, I am giving Zsa Zsa Gabor, which I had to look up. I think Zsa Zsa Gabor was the
She's
little
a woman beyond her years. She knows the old references.
Yeah. She was the little girl she was not the little girl in It's a Wonderful Life, right?
What?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Who was Zsa Zsa Gabor again?
She was that like fabulous woman. She was an actress, but she was sort of like superseded as a persona of like glamour and wealth.
Oh, I was thinking Zuzu's Petals.
What?
You know what I'm talking about? Are you sure she wasn't in It's a Wonderful Life? I was thinking.
I don't know how that timeline works out.
She
but
was
I
born
could-
in 1917, and
Oh.
I'll look it up. I don't think she was in that. She was in a bunch of other shit. Okay, I'm sorry. I was thinking Zuzu's Petals, which is what one of the little kids says at the end of It's a Wonderful Life. I'm sorry. I
That's
apologize.
a great peek into your mind.
I apologize about that.
I think Zsa Zsa Gabor's house burned down in fires like 50 years ago.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to look up. I can't believe it. Obviously it's a huge problem that I don't know.
She's like a Beverly Hills icon.
Totally. She was 99 when she unfortunately
It's a good run.
passed. I know. If I get to 99.
My grandma was born in 1919.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So Zsa Zsa was born 1917.
I think my other grandma might have been born in 1917, and they both lived to 97 and 98.
That is amazing. So you have longevity within your genes.
Knock wood.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Okay, well, good. Let's hope we both live to be 99 at least.
Still podcasting.
Still doing this show. That'll be amazing. What will Bravo be like then? Then Andy, you said this already. You teed it up. Andy goes, I gotta admit, I'm pissed off. And Jenna goes, about what? And he goes, your partner, Cass. Why the hell can't she be on this show? She ran away from me at a party when I came into the room. And Jenna says, that's because Jeff Bezos just came in.
I know. I was like, I didn't really know what she meant. She goes, so he's like, she ran away and then you guys left. And she's like, no, it wasn't about you. It was that we got stopped like 7 times on our way out the door. And she was like, we have to leave. And she goes, Bezos had just arrived. The party was going in a different direction. I was like, what does that mean?
Bezos famously, he's a billionaire, so I guess when
Like
he
it was
goes,
gonna be a freak off.
when he goes to a party, you instantly start to feel like, I guess, that billionaire energy. So I don't know what she meant by that. And they keep saying this thing, which I have to ask you about. I kind of took it for granted and let it go the first couple times. But Jenny goes, my partner, Cass, can't be on television. She's too outspoken and provocative. Who knows what she's going to say? I was like, what do you think she's going to say?
She like an insult comic.
It's like, she's going to get canceled immediately. Can we try it out?
I'm surprised that that's Jenna's better half, being that she's so
Is she
the opposite.
Is she supposed to be? You just mean significant other.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant literally better, but it sounds like
No,
Cass is like basically.
I just mean Jenna's so not like that.
Right. It's like Cass is like Don Rickles, like oh my God, don't put me in the same room with her. She's going to make fun of me and call me something that's going to make me very offended. But I'm just like, is she really going to get canceled immediately?
Right. They've said that more than once. And Andy's like, she used the H word about the show, that she hates the housewives or whatever. And I'm like, Andy's pissed.
And we love when a significant other on Bravo talks down about Bravo and talks shit about hating it and doesn't want to appear on camera. That's such a good thing.
Yeah. And he read a question that was like, why do you talk about your relationship in the press, but not on the show? And Andy goes, I would like to know.
Yeah, and he goes, does it piss you all off? And they all go, yes. Emphatically, absolutely, yes. We get so pissed off that Jenna gives all the updates to the New York Post and all the New York press.
Yeah.
Page 6.
And he's like, so are you married or not? Like, you will never tell us shit. And she goes, well, we had a playful small ceremony in Texas, but it wasn't legally binding.
Yeah. Cass couldn't say her vows because they were too insulting.
Yeah.
To everyone in.
She's like, she called me a bee.
She's offensive as hell. And then I think next up,
she kept like every time Jenna gets like put in a corner, she goes, I know it's bad. I'm sorry. I didn't think about it. I know. I fucked up. Like
she goes, I'm a naughty baby. And you remember we found out again that they edit out all of Jenna's baby impressions from the entire 2 seasons she's been on. Do you remember when they did that montage?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you for that, actually. Yes. Then we get into that Sai is still pissed off at Pavitt for calling her a bipolar bitch.
Yeah.
She says that that's triggering to her. Jessel is like, I mean, you did make a lot of implications about him, like, you know, that he was a sex tourist or cheating or whatever. And she's like, I'm trying to get him to apologize. It's something we're working on.
Yeah. And she goes, he's embraced being called the fish from Finding Nemo.
Yeah.
What did he call her?
Dory?
He's like, he's embracing it now. He puts up photos of him next to Dory on Instagram. Yeah, so that was kind of like, okay, I really think, like you said, we've said this before, like, Sai, you have to understand how impactful what you said about Pavitt was.
Yeah.
You know, despite him also calling you bipolar or whatever.
Yeah.
We learned, unfortunately, that Raquel's mom didn't patch things up, even though they seemed very good when we saw them and very sweet. Like they wanted to be in each other's lives and like they were going to set up that iPad. Unfortunately, nothing changed.
Her mom's like, something about the iPad's not working. I'm never going to talk to you again.
Yeah, I wish that, I mean, Apple Care exists, or even
don't they have an Apple store in Puerto Rico? Like, go set a meeting.
For sure. It's almost like the iPad is symbolic for a broken relationship.
No connection.
Yeah. And then Andy said something which I thought was interesting. I didn't expect him to hear this. He goes, with all due, you all seemed extra lesbianic in front of each other, in front of Raquel's mom, like you were taunting her.
Yes. Yeah, and they were like, I know. Jenna was like, again, oh my God, I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah, and I never blamed Jenna. I just thought it was like funny. Like it was just silly to know that Raquel's main thing with her mom is that her mom does not accept it.
That's the reason they were all there.
Yeah, but I did know at the time that Jenna wasn't thinking about that. I don't think she was.
Yeah, but that's a flub.
Right. Yeah, a little bit. So they talk about that and everyone basically agrees. Even like Raquel was like, I know you wouldn't have done that on purpose. Like Jenna apologizes. Sai goes, yeah, I knew that was like very uncomfortable.
Yeah, like she was like, what the hell?
Yeah. So it was interesting that Andy brought that up.
Yeah. And then we get into the whole thing about how Sai, Jenna, Brynn told Jenna that Sai says she hates her.
Yeah. Sai goes, no, I never said that. I just said I viscerally dislike Jenna. And I don't
She's not for me.
Yeah, and I don't like her as a person. It's like, well, Sai, I mean, that's basically... I can't believe you said that about Jenna. You basically said what everybody is rumoring you to have said. It's like not that far off from hating her. It's like, well, imagine hearing that. Someone said, I do not, I dislike that person. But then Bryn kind of twists it a little bit because they say, how did that get into the world? It's because of Bryn. And then Bryn immediately launches into why she had a hellacious first 5 weeks on the show. She goes, you all put me through absolute hell.
She's immediately crying.
The first 5 weeks she's crying, and Sai and Aaron are like, what the fuck are you talking about? How did we put you through hell?
Yeah.
And then this is when Sai has the fire of 1,000 suns. She immediately goes in on Bryn and talks about how everything Bryn does is basically all about manipulating and lying. She goes, I haven't had one flashback of me where I was lying. And it's true. Like, they would have just flashed back to her lying completely. But Bryn had a montage of about 4 minutes or 3 minutes of all of the lies she told.
Yeah.
We're even learning new lies in real time during the reunion.
Yeah.
So I felt the power of Sai. I was like, she's fucking killing it right now.
Yeah.
She was like, you finally showed how you really are. This season fully showed that lying spirit within you. I did nothing. You did it to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the show sort of threw Bryn a bone, but it was lame. It was like, she was like, you said like 5, what did you say, like 7 mean things about me. And they just strung together every comment Aaron made at that whatever bar night where she was like, you lie and you whatever, and they counted them all. And I was like, does it count if it was like in one tirade?
No, it doesn't. And why would they throw Bryn a bone at this point?
It sucked. I think maybe they wanted to balance it so that they couldn't be accused of it being a pile-on.
Yeah, because, Aaron does say, I said no names to you, but you don't need to count. I don't know. I was like, we're defending Bryn already? But I guess, they didn't want to let Aaron get away with a lie, which, okay.
They also called out Jenna for saying, what did she said that
the basic bitch thing?
She singled out Bryn. She denied singling out Bryn, even though she's like, Bryn's the one that told me. Yeah. And then she was like, I know. Like she said it again. She was like, I know that was bad. Yep. And then next, Andy's basically like, Bryn, we saw a lot of issues similar to this in terms of all of the lying. Yeah.
Do you see a pattern? And then Jenna, says that I know that this is called stirring the pot, which it's like, this is not. I don't think technically what Bryn does should be called stirring the pot. Mm-hmm. It's purposefully creating fake shit for everybody to get mad at.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's stirring the pot, but Jenny goes, in this instance with Jessel, where you tried to, hurt Jessel, like it actually was meant to hurt her feelings by saying that I called her a basic bitch when the exact opposite was true. Yeah. I refrained from saying that and even specifically said she's not basic.
Yeah.
So Jenna's like, why would you do that? You just stirred the pot.
That was one of the more salacious, like, the clip provided the opposite evidence, and Bryn just ignores that fact and goes, I don't need to elaborate. She goes, I don't make stuff up. I just like repeat what everyone says immediately. And everyone's like, no. Yeah. Like, we have unlimited footage of you changing what we said and telling the other person so that it sounds worse.
I was getting a little frustrated at this point because then Jenna is like, when you retell a story, you lose the intent or whatever. And I was like, Bryn knows exactly what she's doing.
Yeah.
She's purposefully lying on camera to create conflict.
Yeah.
Fake shit. Like, you don't need to explain this to her. She knows she lied.
Yeah.
She's been lying the entire time.
Yeah. And then they get into like semantics about the Uber broke comment because Aaron holds firm that she was joking and that she didn't like, but I'm like, whatever, you made a bitchy comment. It was like meant bitchy, but it wasn't that serious.
Yeah, but I don't think it's beneath Aaron to make a really shitty joke because
sure,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, but then Jessel was caught in the middle because she was like, she had to be the one to decide if it was mean-spirited or not. Yeah. And at first she's like, I mean, you could interpret it either way, and then in the end she comes down on it as a joke, which I'm like, the point is that it doesn't really matter, and that Jenna didn't really need to hear it because it wasn't that serious, but Bryn like ate it up and decided to make it a thing when you could just be like, oh, Aaron's a bit of a bitch.
Yeah.
Like, she makes rude jokes. Whatever.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Like, she's not trying to like ruin Jenna's life or reputation. Like, it's not that serious.
Right. Absolutely. And then they talk about the carbon monoxide text where she goes, oh my God,
this was awful.
She goes, I don't smell like carbon monoxide, but I'm
Silent
purely
but deadly.
odorless. I'm silent. I seep into your nostrils and your lungs, much like monoxide, and you won't even feel it until you're dead. And then Bryn goes, that's the one mean text I've ever sent. I was referencing the periodic table of elements while you were talking about Pixar and Dory, the Pixar character.
Here she goes again, trying to act like she's like this model intellect.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, you're not that smart. I'm not
I mean,
impressed.
I mean,
To
7 out
brag
of 10.
about talking about elements.
I know. I didn't
The
understand
way,
that.
if I were Sai, I immediately, like, in my mind came up with like a cruel clapback. Like, I'm not even gonna say it 'cause
Wait,
it's
come
too
on.
mean, but I would be like, I'll only say half of it because I could double down further because I would just be so annoyed.
Go for it.
But I'd be like, sorry, like finding Dory's on my house all day with my kids. When you have kids, you'll understand.
And what's the second part? You want to leave it to the imagination?
Yeah, you can leave it to imagination.
Okay. Yeah, and I was wondering, is carbon monoxide one of the elements?
Yeah,
They give a full element to that?
shouldn't it?
I don't know. Okay. Yeah, I guess. I take Bryn's word for it. Then Bryn goes, speaking of the periodic table of elements, I am not a liar. I don't lie. And I just was like, what? Wait. No, wait. You have to at least accept that. You've just been caught in maybe 7 or 8 or 10 lies. You're getting
Yeah.
actively caught in lies at the reunion, new lies that we've never even heard of. You have to at least admit that you're a liar. Like,
She's just like grasping at straws at this point because she's caught red-handed. Like, the next thing she says is, she goes, well, I'm talking about the periodic table, you're talking about Pixar. And she goes, and while you're talking about people's husbands, I'm defending myself against a man after I've been sexually assaulted. And I'm like, that's not the same thing.
Right.
Like, we're not talking about that.
Right. No, totally. Yeah. And then they talk about, Sai talks about all the things that the like put downs, whatever that Bryn says. She goes, you'll never know how much money I have made in corporate America. I've been siphoning off the cash from corporate America for years, and you should see my Q3 earnings. And then
It's like a bit unhinged.
and then Bryn goes, yeah, because you said that I don't make money or you don't know what I do. And Sai goes, in all honesty, I don't know what you do. I have no idea what you do.
Yeah, frankly,
And Bryn
no one
gives
does.
pure silence. And I thought, is this the time when you can talk about the BP oil spill shit
Right.
or whatever? And
She
she goes,
I do your job.
and not one titter of laughter. It lands
What does
like a
that
complete
mean?
thud. Meaning she meant that I'm a reality television star and you suck on this show.
Like,
and
I
I'm
carry
good.
the show?
Yeah, but no one wants to give her that because they don't agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sai reveals that she only went to therapy for 4 months. Whatever. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Wait, sorry, we just got a breaking news update. This is going to blow your hat off your head or make it spin around. Gretchen is joining the Orange County cast season 19. Gretchen is back. She'll be joining Tamra, Shannon, Heather Dubrow, Gina, Emily, Jennifer Pedranti, and Caitlyn Janela. Katie's back for season 2. Jennifer is
Whoa.
back for season 3. Emily, Gina, they're keeping everyone the same, except now Alexis Bellino got kicked to the curb, and Gretchen is replacing her.
Are Tamara and Gretchen cool, or are they enemies for life?
Who knows? It'll be how Tamara wants to treat it.
They should go to Bass Lake.
Oh my God, that would be so amazing. It'll either be Tamara will start to shame and spread seeds of rumors around Gretchen before it starts, so she has a beef with Gretchen to start, or she'll immediately start, trying to prove loyalty to Gretchen so that she has an ally. Who knows?
Wow.
Tamara is a flip of the coin. Good or evil, you have no clue what she's going to do, but that's a good...
They should do a scene where Gretchen and Ryan sit down. Tamara's son.
Oh my
And he apologizes.
I don't think I could see that. It would be too real. Unless he fully apologized.
Yeah,
He said,
he should.
Of course he should. I was thinking, does that mean that we're going to get a peek at Mr. Smiley
Oh,
himself?
yeah, baby.
His last name's Smiley, right?
Slade Smiley, yes.
I'm
Ah,
excited.
That's exciting.
I'm excited to see Gretchen back.
OC remains.
I never really fully fell out of my love for Gretchen. People said that she started faking shit by making Slade like proposed to her on a rooftop, which was like fully fake. Like she was creating false storylines, but hopefully she's learned her lesson and we can just learn from what she's done in the last 10 years.
How long was she on for?
4 seasons?
Because I remember
5?
like the beginning stuff with, her dying fiance. It's not funny. Sorry.
No.
That was her thing.
Shocking. Yeah.
And then the naked wasted thing. I remember then Slade, and I remember she had like a handbag line, or like a Gretchen Beauté. She had a makeup line.
Yes, I sort of remember that.
Like she did sort of like QVC shit. I remember that, but I'm like, what else did she get into? But anyways, maybe I'll rewatch.
I want Lydia back so bad.
Yeah.
Lydia and her mom. I'll never forget when Slade Smiley does that comic roast or whatever, and it's just like the most insulting, horrible things that don't even seem like jokes. It's just him basically saying awful shit about all of the cast members.
He's a
of
hustler.
Orange County. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's one word for it. And he goes, we need this robe for BravoCon. Oh, we don't have to talk about the mezcal shit or the Bitcoin shit, right?
No, she said that she could have made upwards of $300,000. They talk about the abortion storyline and how impactful that was. And then Jenna said that she bought her son condoms the other day, and I was like, why did you tell us that?
Yeah, I'm not sure. We'll have to parse through Jenna and her son's relationship, but definitely an interesting.
I don't need to hear that.
Yeah, another thing that Erin tees us up for is she goes, I had a handbag line, sue me. So it was shit. Okay, yeah, it bit the dust hard, but apparently Becca Minkoff can't stop making jokes about it. Funny for someone who supports women. That's Becca Minkoff for you. And I was like, oh, damn. The reaction to Becca Minkoff was so bad, and she was your friend, that you immediately throw her to the wolves and pretend like you've hated her the whole time. Yeah. That's totally what Erin is trying to set up. Like, I think Becca's a piece of shit now, just like the audience.
Yeah.
I was like, and she's going to do that. It's like they're going to be fighting. It's like, you were her only friend. She didn't do anything wrong to you. She just sucked on the show.
Yeah.
You don't need to also now make it worse by pretending you're in a feud with her.
Yeah. I saw a clip of Becky she was like on a panel or something, like being interviewed, and they bring up that when she gave them those bags, Erin was like, it's not really my style. And she was like, well, interesting, because I thought she had a handbag line. Oh, it failed.
So that's it, what
Next
Erin was
question.
talking about. Wow. Do you remember when Becca Minkoff gave us a peek at all of that exclusive Minkoff Wicked merchandise?
It was like all props from the show, and then there was like one bag that she designed in the middle.
Ruby red. Oh, you're right. It was ruby red slippers, the wand that Glinda the Good Witch.
Did you end up watching it?
I watched Wicked.
Shiz You. Do you want to go to Shiz You?
Is there any humanly reason on earth why it was called that?
It's batshit insane that it's called that.
Yeah.
Shiz University.
We don't know why it was called Shiz. Is it for Wiz? No, like Wizard of Oz. Yeah, it was one of the. Is
that before or after we in our younger years would say shiz instead of shit?
Yeah, when I was a little kid, I would say that's the total shiz. Not shit. That's an awful name. But everything about that movie was awful. It's one of the worst mythologies I've ever seen put to film. Frank L. Baum is absolutely rolling in his grave. He is spinning, barfing. He is in heaven or hell going, what the fuck did you do with Wizard of Oz? This is the worst shit in the world. We found out how the monkeys started flying. We found out who got the goddamn house on them. It was such utter shit.
What's that book called? The Grimmery.
What was that? Oh, that's
book
where
that only she could read.
The only benefit of the doubt I'll give it is that I am glad it brings people joy. That's my new thing now. Instead of just
don't yuck their yum.
Yeah. Instead of just calling everything pure shit, I want to say I am glad a lot of people found joy in that.
Yeah. I was listening to Erin Brockovich on Mark Maron yesterday.
What? The hell is going on WTF? Mark Maron's like, I don't have any more guests. I just watched Erin Brockovich on Netflix. Is she around anywhere?
She wrote a book, and it was perfect because it was after the fires, and she knows all about like what happens next and how the people need to band together, and the Pasadena's freaking SoCal Edison. So we're gonna have to do a full Erin Brockovich. And she's obsessed with Wizard of Oz.
She is?
And she was talking about how there's all these political readings, that the Scarecrow is the American farmer. Like there was this whole like political she was getting very into the true meaning behind it, and how like Dorothy is the everyman who is like waking up, and the poppy field is big pharma. She was getting like very into it.
Oh my gosh, Amy, thank you so much for saying that. I love that. Well, if I will be listening to that absolutely so much. I had a little bit of a spill, but I heard every word you said. Scarecrow is the military industrial complex. The lion is the farmland. And okay, good. I love that so much. Well, good. I'll listen to that.
It was entertaining.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
I don't think that mythology was meant to be built upon. It's kind of one and done, in my opinion. But anyway, now, unfortunately, not unfortunately. Well, yeah. What was next up on in your notes?
This is actually the like sad portion. Bryn talks about her assault. Andy's asking her about it. He asks if she carries shame. She says yes. He asks if she masks her trauma with humor. And she's like, of course, that's always been my thing. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to get out of bed. And he goes, he asks her, he's like, is the person who assaulted you someone you knew? And she says it was someone who was courting her. And she says that she still sees him around. And he's like, did you ever consider pressing charges? And she's like, it's so hard to prove. Like, I didn't go to the hospital. I basically, like, she says she kind of, like, ignored it for as long as she could. And then by the time she would have the wherewithal to move forward with that, it was too late. And she's like, I feel about him, all I can say is that I understand why people commit heinous crimes. Mm-hmm. Everyone's being nice to her and supporting her. Erin gets a little, like, I was like, leave her alone. Erin's like, so this guy just gets to run free? Like, you need to stop him. He's a danger to society or whatever. And Jen is trying to be like, women often get blamed and villainized when they come forward about stuff like this, so they understand why she wouldn't. But Erin is like, but he could hurt someone else and like whatever. So it was like, it was just like a dark topic. And then Uba is like crying during this conversation, and she literally looks Bryn in the eye across the room and says, I'm sorry. Like, she's like, I'm sorry that happened to you. And Bryn like is like, I know you are. And I'm like, bitch, oh my God. Like, I know we're gonna have to wait for them to talk about the real thing. Yeah. But I'm like, that's so, you better feel so bad.
I don't think she's going to. Well, I don't know. Okay, I'll withhold judgment. But I really thought that Jenna clip about, like, don't spin it, it's so dark, was going to be about her trying to spin it. But I now I'm getting the sense that Bryn might have a full, mea culpa about it, because I did think Jenna was talking about that. But that's kind of stepping ahead a little bit. Yeah. So, and then Andy says, anything more you'd like to say? And Bryn says, no, I've said my piece. And it's like, it's just fully up to Bryn, how she wants to handle it, all the decisions she made, you know. And so, and then we go next up. Andy kind of lightens the mood. We can skip the Gideon stuff because I don't really understand what's going on. No. I will just say, though, that we get the update that Uba lives in Connecticut. Oh. So I'm like, does that disbar her from being on RHONY? She got rid of her apartment. Like, she does not have a New York address. Yeah, I don't know, because I also don't understand why that person is allowed to be off camera and why Uba gets the same grace that Jenna gets. It's like, it should just be sort of conditional that if you're a full-time cast member, your significant other should want to participate, because half of the enjoyment of these series is getting a peek at the home life in addition to what they bring. It's kind of a balance that you bring. So Jenna
wouldn't even, like, when he asked her if that's something that bums her out, she's like, yes and no. Like, she basically said, like, no, I actually do prefer to keep it off the table. Like, and I'm like, anyone would. Right.
I was just gonna say that everyone would. Like, everyone would choose that. So.
Like, Pavitt doesn't want to be like, like getting ripped to shreds online if he doesn't have to. He's not getting paid.
Yeah, and he kind of, he's already been, there's been some pushback on this, but Andy kind of really tries to get to the bottom of Jessel's second season glow up
It
or
wasn't
whatever.
great.
Yeah.
I know he's always done that.
Yeah.
And it kind of, I think it always bothered people historically, but I always gave it a little bit of a pass when it was for like Sonia or like someone like that, where they're kind of just had a more like goofy rapport, but he was like grilling her. I was like, can you like fucking relax?
Yeah, and it's much better if it's someone with like Tamra or whatever, and like the rapport.
Who like all they ever talk about is that she got like new tits or like a facelift, like.
Yeah, like just sense the energy from Jessel that she very slowly wanted to reveal what she's done, but she's not fully comfortable talking about all of the like stuff that she's done. So just kind of like take a cue. But honestly, in Andy's defense, Brynn throws a huge wrench in it, and no one acknowledges that Brynn tries to create a new scandal, like a kind of a lie
on the fly.
Scandal on the fly. I was just like, Brynn, this is exactly what you do all the time.
Yeah.
So Jessel is like naming the stuff. She goes, I don't even include Botox because I've been doing that since I was 26. So I got a haircut, whatever. And then Brynn goes, I know more that you do. And then I guess she's talking about fillers. And in another thing, you also run out and don't pay for it and go grab an Uber and run off into the night. And Jessel's like, what the hell are you talking about? Seriously, what the hell are you trying to like bring up to make me look bad right now while I'm being grilled about my appearance with Andy?
She's like, I had a deal with the med spa, and she's like, we did a video together, it's on their page. She's like, you think I like ran out on the bill without coming to an agreement? Which I literally just watched a very long TikTok about someone that was Sonia Morgan's assistant for one day, in which Sonia did not have an agreement to the terms of her haircut, and she refused to pay. So it's not unprecedented, but that's classic Sonia.
Yeah, but then, and in this instance, Erin, everybody's like, oh, she didn't pay, classic. And it's like, you guys are so primed to jump on Jessel and talk shit about her, like anything that she says.
Yeah.
And then Andy was getting in it. That's what I didn't like. It felt like Andy was now participating in bullying Jessel. Mm-hmm. He's like, you started out just saying this. You started out just saying this. It's like, well, yeah. She goes, I was interrupted.
I wasn't done.
Yeah. So she says, I mean, not that anyone cares. I actually don't think Jessel, I mean, I don't look at her so deeply and closely. I don't think she looks so different. Do you? From last season?
She does, but that's quintessential season 2 behavior, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's not so dramatic, but they also talk about, she says that her and Pavid are going to wait to get through the toddler stage before they consider having a girl or whatever. And he goes, last season, a big plot point was that you guys were having a tough time with your sex life. He's like, has that gotten any better? And she's like, oh, yeah. And she claims that they now do it once or twice a week. Andy's like, what? Everyone's like, damn. Everyone's like, that's pretty good. Like, that's really good. And I'm like, okay, well, first of all, she's lying.
Right.
And second of all, I'm like, okay, people being impressed by once or twice a week is the proper amount. Like, that should be the crazy one. Like, that should be the, like, impressive option.
Right. We actually
I will die on this hill.
Yeah, no, of course. We should actually give the RHONY cast members and Andy credit for acknowledging that once a week is great, because I swear on every single franchise, everyone says twice a day, 7 days a week, and 3 times on Sunday.
They have toddlers.
So
once a month would probably be ideal with toddlers, no?
So this was groundbreaking territory for them all to give her credit.
Put it in the log.
Absolutely. Yep. So, okay. Then, they all talk about when the Jessel shit started to happen, the talking shit.
Yeah.
So it kind of segues perfectly. It's like, oh, you all just started to jump down Jessel's throat about some random filler shit. And then they talk about that conversation where the episode started with Brynn going, let's talk shit about Jessel. And they'll go, oh, yes, that's my favorite thing to do. And that's when they introduced the concept that Jessel has a secret love of her life that she'll never let go. Do you know this part that I'm talking about?
Yeah, Jessel's like, Brynn distorted my words about my ex-boyfriend, because in the clip, Brynn says to Sai and Aaron, remember when we had that conversation where we were like, who's the love of your life? And you guys obviously said your husband, But Jessel said it was like her ex. And Jessel's like, that was not the question. The question was like, what was your craziest hookup you can remember?
Yeah.
And she had a story about someone from the past, which like is much different than saying like the one who got away or something.
Absolutely. And it's like, okay, so now let's hone in on this. What happened? Did Brynn take a thing that she obviously knew was fake and say and pretend it was true, or did she mishear because she's so ready to spew garbage out of her mouth that she just took the craziest hookup story as it being the most passionate love affair of Jessel's life?
Mm-hmm.
Did it just get scrambled because she's so quick to just
Yeah. I think
rush
she's
it?
careless
Careless
with bad intentions.
Yeah. Right, which is a horrible combination. Jessel really wants Brynn to hear her. I love this moment. It's kind of like Sai gave Brynn a little bit of the business at the top of the hour. Jessel goes fucking in on Brynn.
Yeah.
I was so proud of Jessel. She goes, don't talk. Just listen to me. That was absolutely gut-wrenching. I was destroyed. I had to ask Uba, did I actually say something like that? She goes, fact check your shit, Brynn.
Yeah.
Check your fucking facts. And she also says, you don't know what it's like to be sitting there with your husband watching something where he thinks he's learning that I have a love of my life that I've been
She
pining
goes,
for.
you're not married.
Yeah.
I'm like, yet again, like everyone's like, bitch, you don't know what it's like.
Yeah. Brynn is kind of sputtering for an apology. She at least realizes that she's not actually offering a lot of defense for what she
No.
did. She kind of is acknowledging that is really shitty. It definitely needed to be told to her, though, that her lies do wreak havoc. It's a very small example of what she ultimately ended up doing in the
Yeah.
finale.
Yeah. She was like, Pavitt thought I was lying when
Yeah.
I denied it. And like my in-laws watched it. Like
Yeah.
she was like, it was horrible.
Yeah, it made me feel bad for Pavitt, and like it made me feel so bad for Jessel. Jenna is also so affected by this, which comes out later. Brynn also talks about, they show the clip of how she goes, Aaron, Sai, and I bond over talking shit about Jessel, which is exactly what I remember from season 1.
Yeah.
I was like, give up on Jessel. It is fucking, you're torturing her
Yeah.
for no reason. Jessel goes, that is pathetic and sad and really cruel
Mm-hmm.
that you all have to bond over belittling me for your friendship. And I was like, that is fucking perfect.
Yeah.
Pathetic, sad, and cruel.
Yeah. She's like, all you do is put me down, say I have no taste. She's like, it's too much. And Jenna's literally like crying. She
Yeah.
was like, it's just making me upset, like sitting here next to her. And she's like, that was really shitty, Brynn. She was like, that was not okay. And then whenever Brynn starts to try and talk, Jenna goes, stop defending it. Just stop talking about it. And that's when she goes, the spin is really dark. I cannot believe that you did that to her. And I'm like, I've never seen her that fired up before
Yeah, she was
in
pissed.
2 years.
Yeah, a part of me was like, okay, I please keep that same energy
Yeah.
because there's something much worse
Yeah.
coming down, So I was kind of surprised that Jenna had that early, but I think it's what you said at the beginning. They're all out of 10 fired up about Brynn and her lies, and so this was Jenna's first opportunity to be like, oh wait, this was so fucked up too.
Yeah.
So she's giving that energy, now
Yeah.
as well.
Totally.
Yeah.
It looks like, so yeah, Becky joins next week, which I'm sure won't be worth much. It does appear that the Brynn takedown begins.
Yeah.
Uba like screams at her,
Yeah.
and I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, everyone is getting a little bit of the Brynn beratement. They're like,
Yeah.
we got Sai, we got Jessel, and then we got Jenna, and then we haven't even seen Uba yet.
Yeah. Andy, when he first sees Uba, he goes, are we gonna get Uba hot tonight? And she's like, I'm Uba Zen. I was like, I forgot she had hot sauce. We never tried it.
Oh, I would have totally talked about that more had I remembered that she had a hot sauce
I hadn't thought
brand.
of it once until he said it. I was like, oh yeah, she had hot sauce.
Season 1 of this iteration of RHONY went straight to
Remember?
the delete.
She was like rummaging in the pantry at that restaurant, and everyone was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, she was trying to find their what was it, clam chowder, right? So that she could make her own with her
Yum.
hot sauce. Yeah, it sounds so good. Oh my God. All right, well, that was it. I mean, obviously, I think this is going to be 2 parts. You think they're going to do it to 3?
Well,
With Becca, I get Becca Minkoff coming in.
maybe. They always try and push the limits.
Yeah.
I did see a blind item that we were texting about that said it was like, this little RHONY star who's already on the outs is harboring a lie that's the worst thing that's happened in Housewives history or something like that. And everyone seems to think it's about Brynn. I won't tell you what people are speculating about because some of it is kind of like heavy and dark shit. But I'm like, what could be the worst thing outside of murder?
All I was thinking was murder. I was like, murder is the worst thing that would be uncharted territory. Murder.
There was a dead body in her apartment the whole time they filmed.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about the worst thing that someone can do, you immediately it leads your mind to they killed someone else not in self-defense. But yeah, it's horrible to speculate. But let's have Little Turtle Cuties and Villa Rosa VIPs say what they think this is about.
I want to hear everyone's fun, outlandish theories.
But the Dumois thing or whatever this was, that blind item, it definitely led you to believe it was Brynn. There's like no one else it could be.
Yeah, because I think it implied that it was current cast, not like legacy.
Yeah.
And it was someone that everyone's already mad at. So
yeah. And then you already said this, but Shed is casting RHONY, and that came up into the world because they're like, oh God, they're going to get rid of this cast. And then Shed had to say, we always cast for every season. It's like, yeah, that's true, but it definitely means that some people are possibly getting replaced, right?
Yeah.
With your new additions.
Well, they were getting really sassy in their Instagram stories too. They were like, be real with yourself. Are you interested in, like, do you actually see yourself with this cast? And then they're like, we will block you if you complain. Like, they were like all crazy on there.
Yeah, they were getting pissed. Well, anyway, good. I mean, that was a good reunion. It was. I thought it was very entertaining.
And we have like the beef or the meat still to look forward to, so to speak.
Yeah, the beef is about to be broiled and served up, so I'm excited about that. Anything that you and I left out for this episode of Turtle Time before we do our conclusion?
No.
Well, the raffle, let's say that.
Yes. If you're listening to this on Thursday, you still have one more day, like 24 more hours. We are running a raffle to raise money for the wildfire victims. We are raffling off fun shit, Ariana Madix signed stuff, West Wilson cameo video, merch store, shopping spree, fun stuff, video message from us. So enter for $5 as many times as you want, and we're picking a winner the 31st.
Yeah, totally. And if you don't get it, which I totally understand, only one person gets this huge haul of amazing stuff, but just think about how the money, no matter what, it's going to the most wonderful thing in the world, a charity. Yeah. So I hope that brings, some fun to entering the raffle. But yeah, it's the best thing that Turtle Time has ever done in terms of charitable philanthropy. We're like full-blown philanthropists now. And I will say we absolutely love every review that we get or rating that we get. I took a little peek at all the new Apple reviews that came in, and I was just loving life seeing all the 5 stars, even though some of the subject matter was completely mean and made me sad. I still will take any...
We have a new favorite.
Yeah.
It said... the worst takes and the dumbest opinions ever, but they have so much chemistry. I always come back.
Yeah. So if
fine by me.
Yeah. If they liked that about us, I think this episode had that completely in the bag.
In spades.
So review, please. We love that so much. And then the last thing we'll say, did you just listen to Turtle Time for the first time and you said, whoa, I liked some of that stuff. I liked the Wizard of Oz chat, Nosferatu. There were some good Beverly Hills takes. Why not get even more of that energy, the Turtle Time spirit, for $5 a month, where Amy and I are recapping the show Vanderpump Rules from the very beginning, and we've been doing it for like a year and a half. So there are over 90 episodes from our archive of Vanderpump Rules, and I swear it has all the same spirit as the main feed of Turtle Time, but perhaps even a little more unfiltered and unburdened.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say?
We say whatever we want on there.
Yeah. So anyway, that's it. That's the stuff. We love you all so much. We hope you enjoy this episode, and we'll see you back whenever Turtle Time has another episode again, right?
See ya.
Bye.
This one's for you tonight.